St. Agnes. Dear Irene, I just had to send you a card to tell you I got the accommodation. It's not exactly sheltered, but it is near the beach. Oh, very near the beach. The last incumbent, poor soul, went out for a paddle and never came back. Still, it's an ill wind.
Yes, well, I remember that from our dormobile trip.
And I am now the proud tenant of a caravan. It's in a large park with all mod cons and facilities. Oh, I suppose that's what they call trailer park trash. I bet you can't wait to visit. I can see you getting the marigolds out already. Love, Vera. Oh, right care of Audrey Roscoe. She's trained to fetch and carry.
I bet she is.
Lodge 202, Vicar upon St. Agnes. Dear Howard, my own address at last. Thanks so much for forwarding Irene's last letter on to Audrey's. What a misery she is, wallowing through her old drawers. Still, at least she returned my underwear. I was down to one pair of knickers. Actually, I shall need a few more of my possessions. As you'll be glad to hear, I found a place to live. Well, at least temporarily. There is a transient feel to a mobile home, even though it's up to its axles in concrete. I shall want cleaning equipment or my Wellington boots to go to the loo. Oh, and my dear old electric organ. My tower ballroom medley should put paid to the neighbours. Oh. Oh. Perhaps you could store the rest in the barn. The space here is quite limited. Kiss, kiss, kiss to both. Your ever-loving Mumsy. Oh.
Dear Vera, is there anyone in your acquaintance who is quite as perfect as you? Because in the first few lines of your last missive, you managed to insult me, your friend, Howard, your only begotten son, Anthony, his partner, and poor old Audrey Roscoe, which is strange since the one thing that we all have in common is that we all recently extended the hand of friendship to you and put you up, in your hour of need. I really don't know where to start with your wild and inaccurate observations. I have not been carrying a candle for Bill Snapes, let alone a torch, which I believe is the usual nomenclature. As far as I am concerned, it was all over before it had begun. Well, admittedly, I did have some warm feelings for the man when he first became my gentleman friend, but the minute you two started seeing each other behind my back, it was over and out as far as I was concerned. Need I remind you of the country hotel weekend break when I found you in a four-poster bed, wrapped around him like a tortilla?
Ah, yes, I remember it well.
One expects such faithlessness from men, but from a woman and a friend, never. Thought for the day, Radio 4. The reason I was tense at his funeral was not because of his betrayal, but because of yours.
Oh, still fixated after all this time. Move on, Irene.
As for me now being able to move on in life, as you instruct in your last, and not miss any more opportunities, may I remind you that the only reason that nice Italian policeman, and they're called, incidentally, carabinieri in their language after the rifles they carry, not carbonara after the spaghetti sauce that you stuffed your face with. And you'd know that, you see, if you'd paid more attention to the culture of the countries we passed through, instead of just singing I Will Survive at every bar that served baked beans on toast. Anyway, as I say, the only reason that that nice Italian policeman showed any interest in me whatsoever was because I had to flutter my eyelashes at him to stop you from being shot. You'd had far too much to drink, and you were driving at twice the speed down the autostrada with a paper bag over your head. Because you said, or screamed, as I recall.
I can't stand the sight of you any longer. I should have followed my instincts.
And likewise, the mechanic had to be mollified because we just did not have the money to pay for the repairs sustained by your paper bag episode. I mean, if you call that, or similar, moving on in life, I don't wonder you're now living in a trailer park. Incidentally, I don't know why you want me to correspond with you via Audrey Roscoe. If you think for 1 minute that I would visit you if you gave me your address. Good grief. Especially if it's that kind of a trailer park.
Oh, good morning.
Morning. Morning.
And I notice that you don't thank me for laundering your negligee or for the fudge. Oh, you clearly don't think it's worthy of comment. I was very sorry to hear of the fate of the previous incumbent of your caravan. I wonder if drowning was preferable to living in such squalor. But as you say, that poor woman's tragedy is your gain. And that seems to be how life goes for you, doesn't it?
Kind regards, Irene. Oh, thank you very much.
Dear Audrey, I hope you don't mind being a post-restaurant. But Vera asked me to write to her via you, so would you mind very much giving her the Enk letter? I hope you two have been getting on well together. She can be fun, of course. She's very jolly, you know, considering what she has to put up with. I don't know if she's mentioned it to you at all, but she probably hasn't, because she's not one to ask for sympathy, but her only son is gay, and daughter's a single mother. You know the sort of thing. And so sometimes she just needs the solace of another woman's husband. It's awful to think that her memory's going, isn't it? Yes, she told me in her last that she hadn't known that her daughter was tattooed. And dear Karen has had mum on one hand and hate on the other for ages. It's so sad when a person gets to that state, isn't it?
Oh, Audrey, good morning. Oh, thank you. Dear Audrey.
The memory's going.
What?
A single mother of another woman's husband.
They what?
Her only son is gay.
They what?
I hope you're keeping well.
Oh, the bitch! Oh! Oh! Shaw's Trailer Park, Vicar upon St Agnes. Irene, it has come to my ears that you've been spreading malicious gossip about me. Audrey Roscoe popped down to the park earlier to tell me. Apparently, my children are odd as the result of an abusive childhood. My grandchild is illegitimate, and my husband died in mysterious circumstances after learning I was a serial adulterer. You are someone to complain of wild, inaccurate observations. For the record, my so-called affair with Bill Snapes is a total ligament of your imagination. As I think I told you at the time, our being in bed together was a mistake from start to finish.
Ha!
There I was, as I thought, on a weekend break, which you had booked, for you, me and Bill as 3 swinging singles. And I find myself in the honeymoon suite with a man I'd barely been introduced to. Though, come to think of it, I could say the same for the first night I spent with my husband, Gerald. It was all your fault for booking the blithering honeymoon suite to begin with. It had more doors than a French farce. I mean, it's a wonder Bill and I found our way to the bed, let alone each other. Imagine our shock when we woke up and found you wedged between us. I mean, you tried to pass it off as a mistake the hotel had made. Oh, who goes to bed in false eyelashes and bright pink lipstick? Well, except in an advert. It was quite clear you'd always intended to be in the bridal suite with Bill.
Buy eggs, pick up dry cleaning, seduce Bill Snapes, don't tell Vera.
Fortunately, this is all de rigueur in a trailer park. If anything, it's raised my profile. I saw several people in communal facilities pointing and staring at me with awe on their faces. On reflection, that could have been the state of my underwear. The garments you returned were a violent shade of puce. Did you wash them with the beetroot borscht sheets? And the fudge, by the way, finally put paid to my dentures. On contact with it, the bostic imploded. Oh. But as I was saying, although it makes little difference here, apart from a visit from victim support offering counselling and an invitation to bear all, in the local paper, I don't want this outrageous slander all over town. And I'm at a loss to understand your motives. All I've ever tried to do is be a friend to you. And as such, I have discussed your perfidy with site security. Audrey got it wrong. This accommodation is not sheltered, it's protected. Hello. And he says for a small sum, he will pay you a visit. Yours, Vera. P.S. His name is Damon, but not for nothing is he known as Demon. The last person who caused bother to a resident is still in traction.
Dear Vera, I really don't know what to make of the crazed and confused assertions in your last. But believe me, I have mentioned before to you what a dreadful old stirrer Audrey Roscoe is. I have certainly never mentioned to anybody that the circumstances of Gerald's death were mysterious. I mean, how could I when I didn't even know it myself until I read it just now in your letter? And I will not stoop to address your false memory syndrome. About the 3 in the bed situation with Bill Snapes. I mean, I thought all of that was deeply buried in the past, but obviously you still enjoy getting it out for further inspection and rejigging of the facts. And as for threatening me with a guerrilla attack from a gorilla, well, I can only assume that you have embraced the lurid ethos of the trailer park with open arms. Do not think for one moment that I am frightened by your scare tactics. Oh no. I am merely upset to have my friendship so rebuffed. Goodbye, and good luck with the rest of your life. Irene Spencer. Leslie, I've been thinking so much about you lately, and I realise that it is very selfish of me to let a little thing like fear of flying put me off from coming to visit you in Melbourne. No wonder that you've begged me to come so many times. It must be very, very difficult for you, having to juggle the demands of motherhood sorry. I'm so sorry. That's my sayonara, yes. If I don't come soon, little Cheryl Marie will never get to know her dear old Granny Spencer, will she? Unfortunately, I won't be able to be with you before this coming Wednesday.
Oh, dear Irene, can you ever forgive me? I don't know what came over me. Trailer park dementia is the only excuse I can offer. I'm afraid they all watch far too many hysterical TV soaps and tailor their lives accordingly. Oh, the stories I could tell you. And I've only been here a fortnight. My next-door neighbour, Yasmin, hello, has had her patio dug up 3 times by police looking for parts of her common-law husband. She says she wouldn't mind them finding him, as he still owes her £48.50. But I presume she means in one piece, alive and kicking, which by all accounts he did, frequently. And talking about kicking, from the couple on the other side, I hear constant screaming and shouting. One night I could stand it no more, and I went round to beg them to stop.
Please, could...
I found him handcuffed to the bunk bed.
Hello, come on in.
And her dressed from head to toe in black PVC, slapping him about with a fish slice. This was an unexpected view of marital abuse. But when I threatened to call social services, they laughed. Apparently, they were making adult entertainment for surfers to download from the net. And they explained that I was now on video, and if I wanted to stay and join in, they'd split the proceeds with me. Oh, I don't think so.
Oh!
Carol does Cleethorpes. I did Cleethorpes with Gerald. Yes, I understand it's got to be realistic, but if you could just keep the noise down. Good night. Good night.
Right.
There must be quite a taste for this sort of thing. They've got a socking great Mercedes parked outside. Which reminds me, I must tell Howard, they're always strapped for cash. Madam? No, thank you. But I digress. I'm really writing to apologise for my threatening letter. And even worse, for following it up in reality. Damon returned with the news that your house was locked and shuttered, and the neighbours told him you'd fled the country.
There was no need for that. I got enough respect for a lady that ancient. And most I'd have done was trash her flower beds, innit?
He's actually rather sweet.
Knock.
And pops round most days to check I'm all right and collect his £5.
Respect.
Respect.
Right!
Oh!
Let go of the duck.
I've just realised I've no idea where to send this. Oh, to have the email back. Where are you, Irene? Perhaps you're scared to tell me. But you need have no fear of further reprisals. I couldn't possibly afford to give Damon another 250 quid. I'll just address it to your former home in the hope that someone knows your whereabouts. Oh, I can see the postman hovering on the other side of the barbed wire. Cooey! He won't deliver on site because of Damon's dog. The postman brought me a note from Karen telling me you've gone to Australia. This was followed by a tirade of abuse, which I presume blames me. And I've suffered so many over the years, I ceased reading as soon as I got to.
Selfish, thoughtless, vile, ignorant. Ooh, good for you, Karen. You should have asked me. I could have thought of a few more for you.
Still no address, so I shall have to stick to plan A and get Damon to chase down the postman. Damon's got a massive 4x4 with bull bars, which is useful in a trailer park, even though we only have chickens. Oh, I do hope this finds you, my dear, and that all is not lost. I understand you can wander for days in the outback with only swaggermen and dingoes for company. Once more, many apologies, and all my love, Vera.
Bonza.